Beautiful. So, welcome to Lionsgate Portal 2022. We are on the brink of the peak energy of this portal, although we've kind of been feeling this crescendo ever since the Leo new moon towards the end of July. So, first and foremost, we want to talk about what even is Lionsgate. There's a lot of information circulating about Lionsgate, a lot of different perspectives on when Lionsgate began being honored, what it even is celestially. But what Lionsgate truly is an astrological and terrestrial alignment. So this is a time of year that certain constellations are aligned with key points in Egypt. It has to do with Sirius, Orion's belt, and really the entire constellation of Orion, but really looking at Orion's belt specifically with the Great Pyramid of Giza and the Sphinx in Egypt. So this alignment occurs between Orion's belt and Sirius and aligns with shafts in these structures in Egypt. And it's thought to be an incredible celestial alignment. And it also coincides with the flooding of the Nile River, which was a very sacred time. And I would say still is a sacred time in Egypt. So Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky. It is the Greek word for glowing. Sirius is, honestly, one of the most renowned stars. A lot of people who aren't even into astrology know of Sirius. And in ancient Egyptian culture, this star was heavily related to Osiris, the god of life, death, fertility, and rebirth, and is the counterpart to Isis, the masculine counterpart to Isis. And so, as I said, Sirius's return to the sky. Essentially, Sirius is not always visible because of its star system, the way that it pulsates and the way that it orbits. And so its return to the sky in Egypt is coincided with the flooding of the Nile River, which was mythically linked to Isis's tears over Osiris's death. So in like 3D reality, this flooding could be destructive, but it also provided a major reset to the ecosystem and encouraging like fertile soil, new plant life. So really in the 3D, we experience this life, death, rebirth cycle. And energetically and spiritually, what's experienced here is this archetype of life, death, and rebirth, and also Isis's grief and love, and the cycle of the life, death, rebirth there. For those who don't know the myth, Set murders Osiris and spreads his body parts out across, I almost want to say space and time, because Isis's journey to find all of the pieces of Osiris to reunite them and resurrect him was quite a journey through space and time. And so we are mythically linked to this life, death, rebirth cycle with these gods from Egypt when we're looking at Lionsgate. So when we are looking at this portal for ourselves today, we're asking, what is meant to fall away here? What am I meant to release so that I may receive, right? This cyclical association with Sirius returning to the sky and initiating this life, death, rebirth cycle here on Earth, it's all about honoring the endless cycle of life, death, and rebirth, and beauty and duality. I think it's also about what we release and what we receive. So Coming into the lore surrounding Orion's belt, Orion's belt is comprised of three massive stars, Mintaka, Anilam, and Alnitak. And these are known as the three kings or the three sisters. Now, Orion is, as well as Sirius, are two star systems that have heavy ties to starseed culture and starseed lineage. So if you have ties to Sirius or Orion or Mintaka in your galactic heritage, this is an even more potent and powerful activation for you, with these star systems aligning with these potent points on planet Earth. So similar to the lore surrounding like Christian belief, where the three wise men were guided by the North Star to the baby Jesus and kind of initiated him and consecrated him in a way into kingship, into lordship. A similar story is told about Osiris, and those are heavily paralleled. Those, I guess I want to say legends are heavily paralleled throughout many aspects, but especially here when we're looking at Orion's belt. So this is about ushering in a new paradigm, whether we're looking at it through the lens of the story of Jesus or we're looking at it through the lens of the story of Osiris. This is once again about that life, death, rebirth cycle, but it's also about this paradigm shift. It's about the turn of a new age. And I'm finding through, my personal journey with this portal, but then also in doing the, background research for the numerology and the astrology of this year's Lionsgate portal, I would say that this is the most powerful Lionsgate portal that I've experienced since I really began to understand the archetype, which I believe was in 2018. I have my personal notes up here. I think, yeah, 2018. And so from every aspect, we are really being ushered into a new paradigm. And we'll talk about that more in just a moment. But I really see where in previous years, I felt the energy of Sirius quite a bit more. These activations with Orion are supercharged this year. This new paradigm that Lionsgate portal is zooming us into is unparalleled from my perspective. So we've covered the celestial alignments. Other important things to note about the celestial alignments here is that it is always opened by the new moon in Leo, or falls around the time of the new moon in Leo, and it always happens during Leo season. So oftentimes Lionsgate is incapped by a new moon in Leo and a full moon in Aquarius. And so that relationship between Leo and Aquarius is very much about new paradigm. It's very much about stepping into power. It's very much about new perspective. So coming into the terrestrial alignment here, the important players here on Earth, we have the Pyramid of Giza. This is the oldest of the 7 wonders of the world. It's thought to represent the primordial mound that spawned the existence of this earth. And historians also discovered that the pyramids often served as tombs and sacred sites. So these were not just structures that represented something mythic to the people of Egypt, but they were also consecrated and charged. And if we were, and there has been pyramid excavation, which I don't necessarily think is the best idea in the entire world, we find riches, we find gems, we find statues. And when all of these important relics are in one place, that becomes, that space begins to transcend just the sum of its parts, you know? It is a living and active temple throughout space and time. Also, one thing that's really important to note about the Pyramid of Giza is that the way that it is oriented on the Earth plane is that it's only a few degrees away from being perfectly aligned to the cardinal points on this planet. So when we have a celestial activation that's in line with the Pyramid of Giza, it's really impacting the entire world as a grid. And I would argue, you know, obviously, it would be a little hard to travel back in time and ask the people and beings who planned this out. But I would believe that this alignment is part of the reason that Pyramid of Giza was placed where it was and oriented in the way that it was to channel this energy throughout the earth. So once again, with Pyramid of Giza, we are having this connection to the cycle of life, the creation of the earth and death, given that serves that as a tomb, as well as true alignment and power, right? Raw, unadulterated, universal power being channeled all throughout the earth. And so the other sacred point here on earth is the Sphinx. The Great Sphinx of Giza is a giant Egyptian structure that depicts a being with the body of a lion and the head of a man. So some see this as the joining of the lion's strength and the king's wisdom. The Sphinx has deep ties to Ra. So Ra, who is Horus of the two horizons, that's what Ra Harathki means. And this is an archetype that sees the Egyptian sky gods, Ra and Horus, as two parts of one whole. So Ra and Horus are two distinct archetypes, but Ra Harathki is the two merged into one. So in this way, the Sphinx represents the power of becoming whole. And again, the beauty and duality. And I also think that the Sphinx, like I associate feline energy with the divine feminine. And I think that the body of the lion and the head of the man also represent the merging of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And with this story of Osiris and Isis woven all throughout this Lionsgate portal, I really see that depicted in the Sphinx here as well. So now that we've kind of covered what even is going on, that why is Lionsgate even a thing that we talk about, what is happening in the stars, what is happening on Earth, I want to talk about the numerology. And this is the power held in the date and the day itself. Now, the peak Lionsgate portal is always celebrated on the 8th of August, the 8th day of the 8th month. It's called the Infinity Portal, as 8 is the infinity symbol. The numerology of 8 is representing abundance, power, and inner wisdom. So in a lot of ways, this is about summoning to peak power, really stepping into yourself and your magic in a way that is undeniably legendary. And so when we think of Lionsgate, 8 is one of the numbers that we need to consider, because 8 is a repeating number in this celebration. So both 8 and 7 here are factors each year. So we kind of want to weave the threads of all of the numerology of this day and this portal together as one. So the next number that we want to look at is 7. And the reason for this is because Lionsgate is always celebrated on 8/8, right? And the way that numerology works is you really want to simplify down to a single digit or to a master number. Angel numerology works differently. It's not something I'm well versed in. I look into those things, but it's not something that fully lands. Numerology in this way is something that's super resonant for me. So 8 plus 8 simplifies to 16. And then the way that you simplify from there is by adding 1 and 6 together, and you get 7. And this is a spiritual leadership number. It's thought to represent the Kundalini energy and an awakening of the serpent within. So Kundalini is thought to lie dormant at the base of the spine until it is awakened. And the idea here is that you can live your entire life without activating Kundalini energy. And so to have this opportunity with the Lionsgate portal, with the numerology of this portal, to be supported in that awakening is really powerful. So the idea is that there's the Kundalini, this serpent, lies dormant at the base of the spine, coiled. And in the Kundalini awakening, she rises from the base of the spine, spiraling upward and opening our crown. So this is a full system, full-bodied upgrade, full-bodied ascension. Yeah, and really indicates personal transformation. So we're not just stepping into this power blindly. Our system is being acclimated to the power. It's being, we're being primed as a channel of more powerful energy. And the Kundalini also has to do with the nervous system. It, you know, our spine and our brain are the crux of the nervous system, right? And I recently took a workshop with Shannon Rose, who's an incredible teacher. And she said, our ability to channel and hold space is wholly dependent on the state of our nervous system. And I couldn't agree more. So if we want to step more deeply into power, into this numerology of 8, into this portal, we also have to nourish our nervous system. And so the numerology of 7, this magic of 7, is really sweeping in to help us prime and prepare in this way. So a lot of times, if you are going through a Lionsgate portal and you're feeling really exhausted, this might indicate that your nervous system is not quite ready to channel the amount of power that you're gaining access to. So herbs like ashwagandha, lion's mane, blue lotus can all really, I would say, especially blue lotus, which was used by ancient Egyptians, would be really powerful to help nourish and align that nervous system for you. Because it can be a lot. Lionsgate is really powerful and really exciting, and a lot of us bring forward like really incredible things, but it can also take a lot out of us. So caring for that nervous system, that's really the message of 7 this year. And this was really exciting to me. The years number, like this, okay, so 8 and 7 are across the board every year. We will always be dealing with the numerology of 8 and 7 when we look at Lionsgate, period, no matter what year it is. 100 years from now, 8 and 7 are going to be relevant. The year's number changes each year. And the way that we find the year's number is by adding the date with the year. So we do 8 plus 8 plus 2, and then 0 plus 2 plus 2. And it simplifies to 22, which is a master number. The root number here, of course, is 4 if we were to simplify again, but 11, 22, and 33 are the 3 master numbers in numerology. And 22 is a master teacher or master architect. So this is really a year that's about laying the groundwork for your empire. laying the groundwork for your new paradigm and a heightened ability to birth dreams into reality. This is about profound insight and creation energy. So if there's something that's been calling to you, something that's been wanting to move through you, but you haven't been quite ready yet, this portal, and it's going to last until August 12th of this year. So we have tomorrow, the peak day, the full moon in Aquarius on the 11th, and then the 12th to kind of wrap this up. But I want to encourage you to take time during this portal to consider, what are you meaning to create? And remember to have a loose perspective on what creation is and what qualifies as a creation. A lot of times in one-on-one sessions, I'll ask someone, they'll get a lot of fire in their reading or something, and I'll ask them, what are your creative outlets? And they'll say, oh, well, I don't have any, I'm not very artistic. But we're not talking about art. Creation can be cleaning your house and organizing it in a way that feels really good. And then it's a creation when you step back and say, I created a fresh and peaceful environment for myself. You can decorate, you can paint the walls, you can paint your fingernails, you can cook a meal, you can write a poem. All of that is creation. We are constantly creating. That's the human nature. So I also want to encourage you during this time to name all of the things that you are creating. And claim them as your creations. I think that can be a really empowering practice, but especially looking to the mark that you want to leave on the world. What is your legacy? What are you here to create? What is here for you that is specifically meant to move through you? This portal this year is incredibly powerful, incredibly powerful. And, I didn't sit here and do the math on this, but I don't know when we'll have another 22 aligned Lionsgate portal. I really don't. So it's important this year to channel this energy if you feel so called. I'm always like, I don't want to obligate people. And then here I am being like, create or else. But forgive me. I just feel like everybody who's called to this workshop has something so beautiful moving through them. And I would love to see you birth that into the world with the help of this portal. So in addition to the numerology of this year, we are being initiated into a new paradigm of astrology. And thank God for that, from my perspective. One of the cool things that's happening with this Lionsgate portal, which is just not the case in the other Lionsgate portals that I've moved through consciously, is we are being set up for 3 major astrological paradigm shifts, and they're listed here. And one of the reasons that I found these to be so potent is because the Aquarian archetype is so important here. And we're witnessing Pluto moving into Aquarius next year and Saturn moving out of Aquarius next year. So this Leo Aquarius axis is so emboldened and empowered right now as Pluto finally makes its slow journey into the final degrees of Capricorn, and a Saturn makes its final degrees. I don't know if you can hear my kitten meowing right now, but she wants to be a part of this workshop so badly. I'm probably going to go get her when I wrap up these slides. Pluto moving through these final degrees of Capricorn, Saturn moving through these final degrees of Aquarius. And next March, we see both of these really powerful planetary energies moving into a new paradigm. Pluto I've put first because I think it's far and away the most powerful shift that we will live through for quite some time. Pluto and Capricorn initiated, I think, in 2004 or 2006, and highly linked with the recession in the United States. And we've witnessed structures crumbling, people being exposed, a lot of, I don't know, just like revolutionary energy almost. We've seen heightened protests, heightened people speaking up, speaking their truth. And that is Pluto and Capricorn. Pluto and Aquarius is going to be this, I'm feeling this shift from exposing the rot and the supportive structures into enacting a new way forward. So we figured out what doesn't work. And Pluto and Aquarius is really giving us the opportunity to do something about that rather than just continue to point out the things that aren't working. Aquarius is a revolutionary. Aquarius is a rebel. Aquarius is a visionary. And partnered with Saturn and Pisces, this is such an incredible energy because Aquarius is still Saturn ruled. So Aquarius can still be a little more confined by cynicism and a little more confined by doubt. And Pisces is a lot more free flowing. So to have this first taste of Pluto and Aquarius coincide with Saturn moving into Pisces, we have this shift from isolation to connection, from idea to flow, from concept to dream. So we have this very analytical Aquarian energy, figuring out how are we going to do this? And Pisces breathing the dream in, breathing the magic in, right? And these are not something that's going to happen right away, right? I think I said from March to June, Pluto will be in Aquarius. And then it's going to retrograde back into Capricorn for a while. And we won't have a more permanent experience of Pluto and Aquarius until 2024. Saturn, however, is not going to retrograde back into Aquarius. Saturn is going to, it will retrograde, but it will just barrel through Pisces, essentially. So while we will have Pluto dip back into Capricorn, we'll have to do a little bit more restructuring work. We do have this wide availability to plan and to enact. And Saturn carries those codes even throughout that Pluto retrograde into Capricorn, right? That's really what I'm seeing next year. And so next year will be a better time to talk about like how we enact these plans, really feeling into it. The third astrological piece that I find really important is that we're having a shift in the lunar nodes. The lunar nodes are not actually planetary bodies. They are points in the sky. So the sun, even though the sun is at the center of our solar system, and we know that we orbit the sun, because of our orbit and because of our rotation, the sun has an apparent path through the sky, and that's what's known as the ecliptic. So we can see the ecliptic is almost like an oval. Within this oval, there are 2 points that the moon will cross while it is orbiting the Earth, like this. So these 2 points that where the moon crosses the sun's ecliptic, these are the lunar nodes. This is where eclipses take place, where either the moon passes directly in front of the sun, or the sun and the moon are on opposite sides of the Earth, and the Earth creates a shadow over the moon, right? So we are having a shift from the lunar nodes being on the Taurus Scorpio axis to being on the Aries Libra axis, which is initiating an entire new cycle in the nodal journey. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. So we're having the north node shift from Taurus to Aries and the south node shift from Scorpio to Libra. Taurus and Scorpio is a very, very intense axis. Scorpio is related to Pluto's energy, right? Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. So when we think of anything Pluto related, we can associate that with Scorpio as well, right? So this is about transformation, life, death, rebirth. And Taurus is about being really well resourced in the journey. And Taurus and Scorpio have divine reflections of one another. So Taurus is also intense in the ways that Scorpio is intense, and vice versa. So with the North Node in Taurus, what we've seen so far is people having like deep considerations surrounding their home, their resources, their food systems, right? Like the housing market has been insane the entire time the North Node has been in Taurus, right? A lot of people buying and selling and moving and wanting to homestead and looking for land and all of this, very much the nodal journey here. The Aries and Libra axis is a lot more about independence, action, justice, fairness. And where Taurus and Libra are both Venus ruled, so they both have this like touch of like wanting to feel good, wanting to be well resourced in this way that's beautiful. Libra is a little bit more about aesthetic and a little bit more about making things beautiful, whereas Taurus is a little bit more about making things comfortable and making things work. It's an earth sign, whereas Libra really wants to please the mind as well. Taurus is a lot more about the body. Libra is a lot more about the mind. And Aries is about taking bold action. Aries is an initiator. It starts a whole new cycle. The lunar nodes stay in those signs for about 18 months. And the interesting thing here is that the lunar nodes are always moving in retrograde. So it's going to move into Pisces next. And Pisces, so in that way, we'll have like a double whammy of like restarting paradigms when it moves into Pisces too. The astrology of the next few years, it's really what I feel like is the times that we were born to live. It's the times that we are like meant to enact the changes that we have wished to see in the world for so long. And I'm so genuinely inspired by that. And I really see this Lionsgate portal as like a channel into this new way, preparing our nervous system for what's to come, preparing our abilities for what's to come. So being really gentle with yourself, but also honoring your power and flexing your power a bit, you know. We're being prepared for really big things, for really large manifestations to come through, for dreams to come true, for creations to be born. And yeah, I can't wait to see what comes through for each of you and witness you standing in this new power. So we've talked about a lot. I've said a lot of things. So how do we synthesize all of the pieces that we've talked about so far? So just kind of like as a recap, we have Sirius honoring the endless cycle of life, death, rebirth, and beauty and duality. We have Orion's belt being about divine communications and downloads, envisioning a new paradigm. We have the Great Pyramid of Giza being a royal tribute to true alignment and the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. The Sphinx representing power and wholeness and bridging duality. And the numerology as a step through the infinity portal into transcendental personal ascension through manifestation, insight, and creation. And I repurposed these slides from years past, and I did not include a bullet point about astrology, so I'll just say it out loud. The astrology here is really linking into Orion's belt, visioning a new paradigm, preparing ourselves to live in a new way that we never have before. Pluto moves so slow that we will not experience Pluto in Aquarius again for the rest of our lives. Pluto spends about 20 years in a sign. I forgot to say that. So this paradigm shift is huge. So this is an opportunity for rebirth, realignment, ascension, clarity in vision, and powerful manifestation. So before we hop off, I would be remiss to say that if you want to go deeper with this energy, I would be happy to work with you one-on-one. Here are the few offerings that were coming through as real solid support systems for you as you step more deeply into your power. Astral codes are my astrology readings. And so in this session, we could look at your birth chart and consider, how is this Lionsgate portal, the astrology, the numerology, this period of time, the current transits, how is this portal activating your birth chart? What is it set in motion for you in the year to come? And really look at honing this energy in to benefit you in a beautiful and powerful way. With oracle readings, we could look at what is actively manifesting for you and what integrative practices would support you in bringing these gifts forward. And then, really exciting, I'm relaunching the Crystalline Coven very soon. This is a monthly membership that I have. There's many different tiers, anywhere from $3 a month to $77 a month, depending on how deeply you want to work together. The $77 tier winds up including a 30-minute one-on-one appointment each month to kind of align your energy, whether it's through energy work, astrology readings, oracle readings. But as of right now, I'm not quite ready to open the doors to the Crystalline Coven. And so I was sitting here thinking about all of this, and what I realized I wanted to do was open a wait list for the Coven. So everyone who joins the wait list for the Crystalline Coven is going to get an exclusive 50% off code that they can use on literally any of my offerings. And then everyone who joined the wait list and then decides to join us inside the Coven is going to get an exclusive bonus welcome gift mailed directly to them. So those will be little personalized mystery boxes based on the energy of you. So like I said, Crystalline Coven doors not quite open, but coming soon. So you can hop on the wait list to get an immediate discount and the opportunity to get a welcome gift if you do decide to join us. And right now, even if you don't join the Crystalline Coven waitlist, I'm running a sale through the full moon in Aquarius on the 11th. So basically all the way through Lionsgate portal with the code Leo season, but LEOSZN, you get 33% off one-on-one sessions and in the ritual shop. So if you decided you wanted to bring home any allies for Lionsgate portal or have one of these deeper one-on-one appointments with me, you can save 33%. Or by joining the wait list, you could save 50%. So let's take a moment to get comfortable. I'm like sitting on my feet, so I'm gonna plant mine just firmly on the ground. Maybe bringing your hands to your sacral chakra, just below your belly button. In this sacred energetic womb space in every single body that exists. This is a place of creation, a home of power. Allowing your eyes to shut down and really bringing your attention to the breath. Allowing the breath to come in through the nose, cascading down into that energetic womb space, and rising back up through the heart and out the mouth. So a few deep breaths in this way. Bringing your attention to the base of the spine, this home base for the Kundalini energy. And noticing the way that with each exhale, golden roots can expand from the very base of your spine down into the earth. With each exhale, these roots grow wider and deeper to support you and connect you to this lovely and nurturing planet. With each exhale, these roots growing deeper, maybe winding their way past crystalline caverns, water reservoirs, the bones of our ancestors, relics of the past. Maybe on this next exhale, these golden roots of yours reach the center of this planet. Wrapping around the core of this earth in a tender embrace. And starting to feel attuned to the heartbeat of this planet, feeling this thrumming energy emanating from the Earth's core. And here, recognizing that we can bring this energy into our bodies here and now, this light at the center of the planet, this grounded energy, this activation, this wisdom with each inhale, breathing in this energy, allowing this energy to rise through our root system. Each inhale, bringing these codes closer to our being. And maybe on this next inhale, this energy lands in our root, reminding us how held we are here, how safe, how supported. This next inhale, rising into our sacral chakra, reminding us that we are powerful and divine creators, working right alongside the universe itself to breathe life into our dreams. Rising again into the solar plexus, just below the rib cage, where the ribs meet. Reminding us just how powerful we are. This is the seat of our will, the seat of our power, the seat of our identity. This is our inner sun. And now allowing this energy to illuminate our heart center. Sending these codes in a spiraling way all throughout the electromagnetic field of our heart, creating a sphere of light all around us, reminding us that we are divine love in ecstatic motion. Taking a few deep breaths with the heart here, allowing that energy to expand. Maybe with curiosity here, wondering how far you can expand your electromagnetic field. Can it expand past your body? Can it fill the room that you're in? What about the entire building? Or the city? What if our electromagnetic fields can reach each other? What if our electromagnetic fields can light up the world? A few more breaths here. The next breath, landing us in our throat, reminding us how powerful our message is, how powerful is each word that we speak. each truth that we divulge and uncover. How radiant our light language. This next breath landing us in the third eye, gifting us with clarity of vision, showing us the way forward, illuminating the way forward. And this next breath landing us in our crown. This gateway to all consciousness. This gateway to the universe itself. And noticing here the expansive nature of our crown and the connective nature of our crown. Allowing this radiance to expand with each inhale, growing outward, growing taller. Silvery threads emerging from the crown out into the air around us, out into the clouds, past the atmosphere, and landing us in the cosmic energy of Orion's belt, the three sisters. Allowing this cosmic energy to guide us in the way of birthing our new paradigm. What is our dream of the planet? What visions do we want to see come to life? What core beliefs and ideals do we want to see reflected in the world around us? And asking this cosmic and illuminating nature of Orion's belt to show us the way. Taking a few breaths here. Drinking in that cosmic alignment, cosmic wisdom, cosmic guidance, allowing it to flow into your body through the crown on the breath. Allowing it to converge with the earthen codes that we welcomed in before. Landing fully in our heart. Taking some grounding breaths here. Coming fully back into the body, maybe with an intuitive stretch. Something that feels expansive and welcoming to this energy that we've activated within us. And when it feels aligned, allowing your eyes to open. And if you want to presence yourself back on this call and share anything, you're more than welcome to.